and welcome to Family Court Fridays with me, your host, author April Gabriellé. This is the Padilla and Williamson case, and it was a very lengthy case. It had to do with paternity, visitation, custody, and child support, all in one setting. And with this case, it was kind of sad a little bit. They kind of bantered back and forth about custody issues, and they did go before a mediator. It was also determined that paternity had been established as well. The judge did ask the mother if she married at the time or had outside marital affairs at the time the child was conceived, and she said no. And of course, I guess the father agreed to that. The mother had an attorney representing her. So it made it a little bit more interesting because I'm always wondering if it's necessary to have an attorney in family court. I'm not sure what more can an attorney do, except in matters that have to do with child support and possibly visitation. But it seems to be quite a norm for the judge to go ahead and grant visitation or custody just according to parties that are involved. So I say that because in this case the mother started crying when they were going back and forth about she wanted more visitation with her daughter. The judge asked her why she was crying, and that was her main reason. So the judge asked her, at what point are you going to understand that what are you going to do when this goes to 50-50 and you don't see your daughter for a week? And the mother didn't like that at all. Now, from this perspective, I kind of really understand that. It's really hard, I think, to know that you once been with your child 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and then all of a sudden to be put in a situation where you don't see that child but maybe once a week. You talk to him on the telephone, and that's what the judge recommended as well to the mother, if she had communicated with the child while she was in visitation with the father over the phone. What I find is that many parents, not many parents, maybe I shouldn't say many, but I've met a numerous amount of parents, especially single moms, who when the fathers have visitation with their children, it's like a hallelujah moment. It's like, oh good, I can go and do what I want to do. It's like a babysitter kind of thing. I just could not imagine not having any time with my children. I just couldn't, or not having the opportunity to spend the quality time with them. And we're going to get to that as well, about quantity versus quality. Another very interesting part of this case as well is that the attorney for the mom brought up the fact that the father was not always with the daughter during his visitation. That sometimes there was a 13-year-old teenager, preteen, tween, watching his daughter. So the judge asked about that. The judge asked if the 13-year-old and when the 13-year-old was watching the child, and the father said when he had to go to work sometimes or if he had to run errands. See, in my book, then you don't need visitation during that time. If you have a 13-year-old or someone else coming over to watch the child, why can't the child stay with the mother? Why is it necessary for someone else to be watching your child? So I've never understood that as well. And so then the judge was concerned about safety and asked if the child, the 13-year-old, was able to respond accordingly if the child was choking or if there was an emergency. At the end of the day, the judge denied that the father to have someone else, or especially the 13-year-old, watching the child while or during his visitation. Now, earlier I said I was going to talk about quantity versus quality. This is very interesting to me because I speak about this in my book, The Myth of the Broken Home. And what I find is many people feel as though if they spend more quality time or more, how can I say this? They feel as though if they see a child every now and then, not on a regular basis, but when they see that child, maybe they do something spectacular. Maybe they take them to Disneyland. Maybe they take them somewhere out of the ordinary. This exorbitant amount of time, maybe 8 hours out of 3 months. And they feel that's quality time. Even for parents who work. And you feel as though the money is what's going to help you sustain the relationship with your child. I'm here to tell you that when you spend enough quantity time with your child, that will equal the quality that the child needs. You'll get to the point that when you spend so much quantity time with your child, the child won't mind doing nothing with you sometimes. Sometimes even if it's just reading a book. Sometimes if everybody's just sitting around, decides not to go anywhere for the day, the child is okay with that because they're so used to being with you and spending time with you that becomes quality time. So it is about the numbers. It is about the time that you put in. It is about the sacrifice that you put in as a parent, and especially a single parent. Because often there is so much turmoil going on between the exchanges maybe, or when the child is at one parent's house or the other. So you want to make sure that there is some consistency and some structure in the time that you spend with your child. Okay? Another issue here in this proceeding that I found quite interesting, it's been a long time for me as I stated, the mom's attorney requests fees to be paid by the father. And of course the father disagreed and said he should not have to pay attorney fees. Well, according to Family Court Code 2030, the father, if he has the ability to pay, he should pay. They went over the situation with the father. He did not turn in an income and declaration form to the other party, to the mother and her attorney. So the judge ordered him to turn in an income declaration. But he kind of got a little contentious with the judge and said, "You have my pay stubs." And they also had the mother's pay stub. So when you go read the case on Family Court Friday, you'll see the details of the income from both parties. So the father, in 6 months, I believe his income was, let me see, don't get me wrong, maybe like $35,000 or something of sorts. So it was obvious that he was able to pay at least a portion. So she ordered him to pay $1,500 of the $3,000 at $50 per month. So I think that was doable for him. If you guys want more information about 2030 Family Code, it's basically the proceeding for dissolution of marriage, nullity of marriage or legal separation of the parties, and any proceeding subsequent to the entry of the judgment. And I'm not going to read all that, but you can go ahead and go to my website again, familycourtfriday.com, and I promise you can get all the information you need with that as well. So I hope that this was informative for you. Again, if you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, go ahead and post them. Next week, I will bring a case from Bexar County, Texas. It's very interesting and kind of brought me to tears, but a lot brings me to tears. So, but no, this case, it'll bring you to tears as well. So I thank you again for joining me on Family Court Friday, and I will see you again next week. Thank you.